Hello, it's another opinion show with Hafen Bros, Ben and Jason here. Although Ben has no more opinions left, apparently he has no F's given and no opinions given.
I don't care.
Okay, that's fair. Well, I just had a couple things that happened recently that I wanted to talk about, share some thoughts. Maybe it'll be a quick show then if you have zero thoughts on my thoughts. But
Let's hear it.
let, let's get into it. There's a couple of things I noticed. First off, we'll start with the Green Bay Packers a little bit, and then we'll get into this other problem that I noticed that I really wanted to just get fans' perspective on because I was curious. Things has happened in sports. A trend that's gone on, and it's a whole issue to consider, and I want to know what people like more and what they think because the way it's gone, I don't know if people like, and then the expectations change, and it's weird. So we'll get into that in a second, but. Matt LaFleur, Ben, saying he was caught off guard by Aaron Jones being released. I don't know. Does that surprise you that he said that? Or is he just trying to be the good guy again? Or what do you think?
He didn't say he was caught off guard by Aaron Jones being released. He said he was caught off guard by the signing of Josh Jacobs.
Oh, okay.
So that's something people need to really listen to a little closer. He did say he knew that there were some things going on with Aaron Jones and all that kind of stuff. Gummy worms. See, I wish I had some gummy worms. Dang it. But it was the Josh Jacobs signing that caught him off guard. Because it caught everyone off guard. Because it makes no sense. We've already gone over this. He actually has more. He's got more wear and tear on his body than Aaron Jones has.
And they probably pay him more this season than they would have paid Aaron Jones.
Right. Plus, they're already paying Aaron Jones money on the cap. He already has had the money, but it's on the cap. So whatever. It's not. What are you gonna do?
Oh, somehow our stream cut off real quick, but it jumped back on. Weird. I don't know what happened. Something with StreamYard. But anyway, we're talking about Aaron Jones. Here's one thing I thought was interesting. So Matt LaFleur saying he was caught off guard was taken out of context by some people. Caught off guard by signing Josh Jacobs. Yeah, I get that too. The thing I thought after letting Aaron Jones go and signing Josh Jacobs and then re-signing A.J. Dillon is that now the Packers have zero chance of having a run over like 20 or 30 yards, right?
I don't know.
I mean, neither of those guys are running away from anybody. So I don't know. It's weird because unless they get some speed guy that they think is going to be, a big play guy somehow in the draft or whatever, they have no speed at running back. So great. Josh Jacobs is physical and can run in the middle. Okay. Is he a better runner than A.J. Dillon? Yeah. Is he a better runner than Aaron Jones? Probably not. And does he have the vision and the speed, breakout ability to weave through stuff and catch guys off guard? I don't think so. But can he be effective? Sure, he can be effective. He's been effective his career in the NFL, so that's fine. The one thing that I thought was interesting about the Packers was, and yes, I'm wearing a white V-neck in honor of Dad. I'm getting it the wrong.
Nice.
It's a little sloppy. But, like white V-necks, you got to wear white V-necks under dress shirts. Because the collar, like the white collar seen above your unbuttoned dress shirt just looks tacky and dumb. Like people got to figure that out already. I don't get it.
I always wear a tie if I wear a dress shirt.
Okay. Well, I don't anymore. I don't do ties too often. But
you're not dressed up enough. You're not fully dressed up. You're not classy.
Ties are out. Ties are
in.
Well, they're in sort of for old guys. Ties for old guys. But anyway, the point of the fable and the story is that the Goody, I found interesting when Goody was asked, at the thing in Arizona, owners meeting or whatever the hell it was, or whatever that thing is, about they're talking to him about Aaron Jones, and they asked him about whatever the situation. He's like, well, we wanted him to take a pay cut and blah, 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 blah. And it didn't work out and da. And then we had to go another direction and all this sort of stuff. And then someone followed up and was like, well, but he took a pay cut last year, right? And he's like, yeah. So we just thought he'd do it again. And this time we thought he'd take an even bigger pay cut. And that'd be just fine. That we just be like, you know what? Psh, here, take even a third of the money he had last year. Now, he didn't say those exact words, but that's what he was thinking in his head. Because that's what they offered him, right? Like, it's just, here, we cut your salary. We asked you to take like a $5 million pay cut from the year before. Okay, I'll do it. Now take take half of what you made last year. That's what you get this year. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Just it should bother Packer fans that that's the way they do business. I understand it's a business, but for a guy that's, and then he had to say, then he's been meant so much to our team, and he's always done right by us, which he has, and he always has represented us the right way and been such a great guy in the community and do all this stuff and all the things the Packers ever want, all the things the Packers ever say they want in a player, right? Was Aaron Jones. And when it came down to it, the reality is this is what they did. Asked him to cut his salary in half from the cut salary he took last year. Then, when he didn't want to do it, they're like, okay, see you later. Out the door. And then they end up, yes, they can get out of Josh Jacobs' contract after 1 year, but he's going to get $15 million for this 1 year.
Which would be dumb.
So how does that make sense?
It doesn't. We've already been over it. But I told you the reason. Listen, the whole reason why Aaron Jones is gone has nothing to do with Aaron Jones.
Right.
It's all Jordan Love. And this is, and you're bringing up things that, you don't want to know what bothered me? Okay, now I got something to say.
Jordan Love or Goody? Which one? You don't mean Jordan Love
Goody
wanted
needs
him gone.
Jordan Love to be the leader in the face of the franchise.
Okay, but
as of last year,
Jordan
Aaron Jones was the face of the franchise. That's why Aaron Jones is gone. Goody needs Jordan Love to be the face of the franchise, because you can't give a $50 million a year contract to a guy who's not even the face of your franchise, and that's what they're going to have to do in June. So if they give him $50 million, and yet there's a guy who took a pay cut and is making $4 million, who's the face of your franchise, that's an issue. That's why they had to let Aaron Jones go. That's the whole reason. And people who don't think that's the truth, it is the truth. Plain and simple. They knew Aaron Jones wasn't going to accept that low ball of an offer. But here's the thing that really bothers me. Jordan Love has been on the interview circuit the last couple of weeks, and I've seen a couple of his interviews. He was on with Giannis's brother. He was on with Ryan Clark and a couple guys. Fred Taylor or somebody, whoever that running back was with the Jaguars.
Fred Taylor. Rick had him sometimes in fantasy.
I think it was Fred Taylor. Is that his name? I don't know.
Yeah,
anyways,
that was his name. You got it right. Wow.
Okay, and then some other guy who I'd never heard of, linebacker guy. Anyways, during those interviews, not one mention of Aaron Jones. Now, and this is after Aaron Jones has been released and cut and signed by the Vikings. No one brought it up in the question to ask him about it. But you could have at least. Now, maybe they edited it out. I don't know. But not even a throwaway like, oh, we're going to miss Aaron Jones, but I think this team is ready to go. I think our young guys are ready to take a step. He talked about Josh Jacobs. He did talk about Josh Jacobs coming. He was excited about Josh Jacobs. He said he thinks they're going to be even better this year than they were last year, is what he said. I don't know. Jordan Love has been rubbing me the wrong way. And people will be like, oh, Ben, you're a hater. And maybe I am. I don't know. Maybe I just hate all quarterbacks. It could be it. I hate Brett Favre.
You do hate.
I hated Aaron Rodgers. Maybe I hate Jordan Love.
Except you like Kirk Cousins.
I don't really like Kirk Cousins that much.
Well, you like Gardner Minshew.
I like Gardner Minshew. So I'm a Raider fan.
Where'd he go again? Where'd he go?
Raiders. Raider Rick.
Right. Damn, Raider Rick.
I was a Matt Hasselbeck fan. But you say Matt Hasselbeck and all dumb Packer fans are like, oh, we want the ball and we're going to score. Except they don't think about the fact that the guy he threw the ball to didn't even run his route properly, and Al Harris just jumped the route like a freaking piece of crap because he ain't that good, but everybody thinks he's so great. And you're like, that's another joke. Al Harris should be the defense coordinator of the Packers, what everybody's saying before they hired Jeff Hafley. Al Harris knows nothing about football. That's dumb.
Talk about him being the next head coach of the Cowboys after McCarthy gets fired this year.
He might be a head coach. He could be a head coach. I don't know.
Really? Okay, we'll
Well, he could
see.
be a leader of guys and be a good leader of men and like lead the troops, but
Maybe.
he doesn't
Yeah,
know
maybe.
X's and O's because he's admitted he doesn't know it. I've seen interviews
Yeah.
with him where he talks about it.
You gotta leave that up to McCarthy.
But
X is
anyways,
no.
I don't know. I'm just saying I don't know if Jordan Love's priorities, not priorities, but I don't know. He's just rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm already jaded and crabby about it, so
Yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
it's tinting my view of what he's saying and how he's
Mm.
acting. And I'm being a big baby, like what's his face said, a crybaby, like the guy said a couple weeks ago or whatever. And maybe I am. I don't know. But what I will say is
Crybaby.
that's what he said. He was a cry, like he's like a big crybaby. Some guy, let's comment. Whatever. He can lick my ass. I don't care what you say. Maybe I am a crybaby.
Woo!
Don't bother me none.
Have you
I've
tried
been
the
called way worse.
that's true. Have you tried the Tushy?
I don't know what that is.
The bidet attachment for your toilet? Just Tushy, woo, give you a
No,
Tushy sploosh.
I used a bidet in Europe one time.
Yeah, how'd it go?
I didn't like it. It was weird.
Was it like cold temperature or was it heated up a little bit?
I think it was cold. I don't remember.
Okay.
Eckes
All
thought it
right.
was Eckes thought it was a bubbler, so he was drinking out of it.
That was
I
drinking
was like,
fountain,
Eckes,
yeah.
no, Eckes. That's for your butt, buddy. I'm just kidding. Just kidding, Eckes.
All right, Rick says, come on, Ben. Plenty of room on the dark side or the Raiders bandwagon. And
Well,
Lee's
I don't know.
wondering, are you looking for more fire from Love? What is it that you don't like?
It's not fire. I don't care about fire. I think it's accountability, which seems weird. A lot of the things he said I liked.
Okay.
You know what I mean? um, I guess I don't quite know how to explain it. Something's just off for me.
Well, some of his passes. But anyway,
A lot of
other
his
than that,
passes are off.
anyway, but yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, this is what I'll say about Jordan Love. I think the kid's fine. It's to be determined whether he turns into an egotistical maniac once he gets big money and all that stuff and gets some success and wins a Super Bowl with the Packers like the other guys did. Once all that happens, it's to be determined. But for right now, he's fine. He's a fine guy. The one thing about the Packers that they said is they got to know him, got to know his work ethic, got to know him as a person, how dedicated he was, how he was as a teammate. A bunch of the guys like him. So, and he did drills that Aaron Rodgers never did, right? Some of those drills he was doing with the guys and all that stuff. So, I don't know. Give him a chance. Is he still the second best quarterback on the team? Probably. I mean, my birthday buddy's probably the best, Sean Clifford, but that's okay. That's all right. He's shorter, and even though he's probably better in game, he probably can't make some of the wow plays that Jordan Love might be able to make. Which segues into one of the things I wanted to talk about. That's not related to the Packers. I mean, it is, but it's related to other sports too, and we'll get into all that. But put a pin in that for a second because there were some guys that got their signing bonuses. Ben Jair, big signing bonus recently. Yeah, Goody knows. Got to keep those important guys on the team, core guys. So one of my questions for tonight is the Packers continue to follow their trend of overvaluing certain guys and undervaluing other guys that are important and they just shove them aside or shove them out the door. Aaron Jones, case in point. Jair Alexander, case in point, in the overvaluing. And then I also read a thing is did somebody come out and say that Kenny Clark had to be extended or he's a core guy? They're really looking to, he's so important. Did you hear anything about that? Did you see that one?
All I know is this. Kenny Clark at this point is costing somewhere between $24 to $25 million on the salary cap for one season this year.
He should be the one taking a pay cut.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. The fact that they have not extended him in ghost years to lower the cap hit only proves what I've been saying for years.
He might be on the outs.
Is that they know he's not that great. At least he's not worth that money, right? Like if it was $10 million a year, I'd be like, okay. But even then, I'd be like, no. But it blows my mind that Kenny Clark at $24 million a year can be on the Packers, but Aaron Jones has to get a pay cut to $4 million with incentives up to $6 million. Even though he touches the ball 20 to 30 times a game, Kenny Clark doesn't even make, you know,
He
10,
doesn't touch it.
5 to 6 plays a game, if even that. But he's worth $24 million in a year, and Aaron Jones isn't worth $6 million a year. And that's a big issue that kind of blows my mind. And that's another reason why I was like thinking of some things, and I'm like, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny Clark is a cap casualty this summer. Kind of like
Oh.
Josh Sitton was. Where a lot of Packer fans who didn't know, like they don't watch the film, like, didn't know that Josh Sitton was maybe overrated. And then they cut him, right before the end of the during training camp or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I just have a funny feeling that Kenny Clark may be that this year. I think he actually is playing better than Josh Sitton was playing comparatively to his backups, right? Like Kenny Clark compared to his backups, Kenny is at least consistent for the most part. Consistently does not much, but he doesn't screw up, right? He's not like a liability. He just doesn't make plays.
He's just really slow.
Right. But he can hold up against a couple guys. He very seldom ever gets overpowered. He just doesn't really make any plays. So, and that's fine. And when you're switching to a 4-3 or a 4-2-5, which is what they really ran last year anyways, but still.
Yeah.
There might be more opportunities there for other guys to play, and they might not need Kenny Clark because he's kind of big and slow. And you really, with a 4-3, 4-down lineman on every snap, not just like in your base defense, you need those guys to be able to penetrate and move, because it's no longer a, hold up and try to shift and move your guy. It's now get to the backfield and penetrate and try to screw stuff up, right? And then the linebackers, well, there's 3 guys behind you to clean up the slop. If you get in there and you screw up, right, you're just causing havoc. Mm-hmm. So there might be more big plays going on, but there might be a lot more, awesome defensive stops, right? And I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I could be totally wrong. But Kenny Clark is not a Goody drafted guy. So that's another reason why I kind of throw this out there.
Yeah,
he may be, because if they cut him, they will save money. But I think they should have done it prior to his signing bonus, which happened the same time as Jair's was. Or his, whatever it was, his bonus for being on the roster bonus or whatever it was.
Oh, so roster bonus. Was that? Yeah.
So I guess I'm probably wrong. But it's one of those weird things where I guess I don't really, I don't know. But I know that there's a couple guys. There's one guy on the defense in the draft who I really think could be pretty cool from a defensive line. Just this Newton guy who looks pretty awesome, but I don't really know. So there you go. I'm sure I'm wrong.
Well, we'll see. I just think it's interesting that a guy that's much bigger than him and TJ Slayton has much better pursuit and can be a lot more disruptive than him in terms of, his closing and all that sort of stuff and tackling and everything. So he just makes more plays. So I don't know. We'll see how that all shakes out. I've been an advocate for, is this TJ Slayton's last year of his rookie deal coming up?
Yeah.
Coming up. So he's a guy.
That could be another reason why Kenny Clark is not getting extended past this year, right?
Right.
Because it would probably have to be a lot of money. I'm assuming because TJ Slayton is a 4th round pick or whatever he was.
5th round, yeah.
5th round, whatever. He'll be way less money than Kenny Clark's 1st round pick second contract would be, because he just isn't. They're just not valued that way, right? Guys aren't valued. Wherever you get drafted, wherever you get picked, unless you're a superstar like Aaron Jones, who even he wasn't valued properly when he got a second contract.
Right.
So I just think that it's just interesting to see. Either way, I believe this will be Kenny Clark's last year in Green Bay, unless he comes back on an A.J. Dillon deal after this year. You know what I'm saying? Because the production doesn't match the paycheck. But we thought that about Preston Smith too, and guess what? He's back this year,
He's back.
and for
Preston's
reasons we
back.
don't know why. I guess probably because Kingsley Enagbare is hurt, so they're worried about that. I'm guessing. So because they could still, but I would hope, maybe he starts, but I would like to see Van Ness have more snaps than him during the course of a game.
He's
I
got
mean,
it.
I think Preston's snaps need to come down and Van Ness's snaps need to go up this year.
Has to. He's a 13th overall pick. Like, get his ass on the field.
Yeah.
Let's go. I mean, you got to, these guys are young. You got to see if they can play before you need to pay him a bunch of money. See if you want to. Like, that just makes sense. So Van Ness has to play for sure. A lot more. And the Packers showed in other areas that they played young guys and played rookies last year. So, he was one of the rookies. He was the 13th pick, but he was one of the rookies that got the fewest snaps out of all of them, which again doesn't make any sense. But that goes back to, drafting for whatever they draft for, their whatever they call it, their RAS, relative athletic score drafting. We don't care what position it is. You always just take the best player available or freakiest player available that we think in our estimation, rather than a player that is going to get on the field and help our team win games. So anyway, not sure about that philosophy. Again, we've argued about that against that philosophy for quite some time, and the Packers continue to do it as long as Goody is their GM, and I think Thompson did similar stuff. So that's the way it works in Green Bay. Now here's my question about superstars. This is where it comes in with the Packers too, but it comes in with all kinds of people. Now, some people, became fans of sports and teams because of a player they saw, right? Player made amazing plays and got on the highlights and all this sort of stuff. And that there was like, wow. And then you became a fan of that player and then that team. And that's how it worked. And the leagues across all sports leagues have, that's the way they marketed the leagues. They we have our superstars. We market the crap out of our superstars. They started doing that, many, many years ago.
Well, the NBA does it for sure.
Well, they all do it. I mean, Major League Baseball.
NBA did it first. Then
everybody.
Baseball did it with the home run hitting and all that kind of crap with the steroid stuff. Then football did it they kind of did it with the Brett Favre and the.
Yeah, they all did it because the thing is, they it was like Favre versus Aikman, and so it's always like,
yeah, this happened in the 90s.
It happened in the 80s, 90s. It was kind of
but it started with Michael Jordan.
Sure. And
because we got to remember, it wasn't Magic Johnson, it was the Showtime Lakers.
Yeah.
It wasn't Larry Bird, it was the Celtics. It wasn't the Steelers, it wasn't Terry Bradshaw. It was the Steel Curtain. You know what I mean? Even when Joe Montana was the 49ers, it wasn't necessarily all Joe Montana. There was Jerry Rice. It was more than just one or two superstars. It was the entire team. It wasn't until Michael Jordan and they force-fed you Michael Jordan that then all of a sudden baseball force-fed you the home run hitters and football force-fed you
the Magic Man. I think he started it in football.
Maybe the Magic Man did start it in the NFL. Oh my God, you're right. Yeah, but we were starving for anything as Packer fans in 1988, 89. So you can't blame Magic for that.
I'm not blaming him. And I don't blame any of these guys. The leagues did it because they said this is the way we can promote our sport. And this is the way we can, use the faces. And that's why those guys get paid so much. That's why the superstars get paid so much, because they're the ones that are marketed and they bring in the revenue. It's partly because they're the, in some ways the best players, arguably, some ways not.
But that's what I'm saying. Like Daniel Jones makes a crap ton of money. Is he any good? No,
and he's not a superstar.
These guys are done. Like Joe Burrow, he's okay. I mean, he's good, but he's not like, I don't know.
He's a showtimer. He's a showtimer, man. Don't give Joe Burrow, don't sleep on him. He's got some savvy there. Anyway, so what I wanted to get at was this.
Joe Namath, boy, Rick, you're really going old school.
Is he going back? He was the one that started it, huh? Okay. But I still think Magic Man was the one that elevated it in the NFL. But I will say this about this whole situation. So anyway, that's how some people do it. And other people were fans of teams, right? Fans of teams. And then everyone's like, what are you a fan? And I see people because I live in southern Wisconsin. There's plenty of people that are Bears fans kind of around here that lived in Illinois or grew up outside of Wisconsin. Now they live in southern Wisconsin. And um so they're Bears fans. And like you can't be a fan of too many players if you're a Bears fan. You're just, I guess you're just a Bears fan. So then you have like these people that are fans of the teams. But then you have all these people who are fans of players and kind of the teams, but then more of the players. And then so I don't know if it's good. And I don't know what fans like. So as a fan, are you more interested in watching the superstars have success and be amazing, or are you more interested in teams winning games and championships? What gives you more joy and enjoyment watching sports? I'm curious of any fans. What about for you?
Are you talking to me?
I'm talking to you now, but I'm also throwing it out there anybody that's chatting and wants to throw in, like, what do they like more? I'm curious. I don't know, because the league clearly said and clearly chose that we are going to make it all about the superstars. That's basically what they did.
Well, it doesn't matter what I want. It matters what the majority of fans want. And I think you can just look to Caitlin Clark and see what works. It's a star. The saddest part is that 90% of the people in the world are okay with just being a schlub. And they treat these people who can shoot a basketball better than anyone else as some sort of god, when they're just a regular guy or girl who can shoot a basketball really well. But that's what the people want. I mean, Caitlin Clark has taken over freaking everything. She's getting more talk than the men's basketball March Madness, especially when she's draining threes from like half court constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're talking about her on the freaking ESPN and Fox morning shows. Not that I'm watching them, but I see the clips and there they are. Like, these guys are talking about it. Like, it's, right up there with LeBron James and the NBA draft. And what leads the show? Caitlin Clark leads the show because she's the star. She's what brings people in. So it doesn't matter what I want. If 90% of the people out there gravitate to a star, it's weird because the thing about sports is odd is
it's supposed to be all about winning, right?
Right.
The ultimate goal is winning and winning championships.
And the weird thing is this: Hollywood used to be stars, right? Like, a star could sell a movie or sell a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays, because there's so much of TVs and movies, there are no stars. People want good shows. People want a good movie. They want good writing. They want interesting characters. And those are the things over the last 10 to 15 years have taken over the entertainment business in Hollywood that way. Like, you can't try to, like, for instance, Henry Golding was supposed to be a guy coming up in the ranks 4 or 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago. He was in a couple romantic comedies. He was getting some buzz. People were really following him, thinking he was going to be the next big, like, kind of like Matthew McConaughey guy, like Matthew McConaughey, where he's in all these romance shows. How many damn movies was he in where he was in a romance movie, right? It was like a million. Like 20, they were thinking he was going to be the next guy to do that sort of thing. And so they were like, oh, he's the next guy. So Hasbro went out and signed him to be Snake Eyes when they made a G.I. Joe movie a few years ago. A Snake Eyes movie where he never wears his mask the whole movie because it's Henry Golding. So they want to make sure you see Henry Golding in the movie. And it brought nobody to the movie. Nobody saw it because it didn't matter. He was in Crazy Rich Asians, which was humongous, right? And everybody loved that movie because it was good and it was written properly and it was funny. But a movie like that one, terrible. And Lee's bringing up, Dune 2, like the Dune movies. The Dune movies have been really successful. Is it Timothy Chalamet? Maybe. I don't think so. I think it just looks really awesome, and it's a great freaking movie and great story and epic storytelling, which is what people want. Same thing with the Avengers and all the over the last 15, 20 years of Marvel movies and stuff. The superhero movies have taken over not because they have stars in them. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. before he was Iron Man was almost out of the Hollywood, right? People didn't love Iron Man because of Robert Downey Jr. Well, they did because he actually, okay, that's probably the only one. But anybody else, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, all the Chris's, you could put anybody in there. You know, I mean, and they have a charm and a flair to them. But if they left, you know, and tried to do something different, the problem with the MCU movies in the last couple of years is not the fact that they don't have the stars anymore. They don't have Captain America and Iron Man. It's the fact that they're writing stuff that nobody gives a crap about. And it's not written as well. And they're oversaturating it with a bunch of junk. You know, that's why they really need the X-Men to come in, because people love the X-Men. The reason why Star Wars was so successful was they took a bunch of no-names in 1977 and made a movie. Nobody knew who the heck any of those people were. But people fell in love with the story. And the interesting, and Lord of the Rings. I mean, there was like nobody, like Liv Tyler was the most famous person on there because her dad was a singer in Aerosmith. Like who else was, you know, Elijah Wood, Sean Astin.
Sean Astin.
Sean Astin was famous because he was Rudy. That was your biggest name in the Lord of the Rings. But Lord of the Rings was awesome.
The fat one wants it.
And that's the thing that's changed. But the difference is in sports, there's still only the same amount. There isn't a story. It's all about the talent. So if someone has incredible talent, they're able to put that on display. And people gravitate to that talent. But if you have a crappy script in a movie or TV show, a great actor can't even save that. Maybe a couple, like Gary Oldman can maybe save it. Or Anthony Hopkins or somebody who's like the best actor of all time can maybe save crappy screen or something like that. But that's the kind of stuff you're looking at. Sports, if you have talent, you're allowed to always show the talent. And that's what brings the people in. And it doesn't matter. There is no script that's bad that ruins your talent. Your talent's always on display. And people gravitate to that. Me, I love a great freaking, like an offense that runs perfectly. You know, that's what I love to see. I love to see a guy go back.
Those magical throws where a guy evades guy makes some crazy wild throw and I
don't like that. I don't care.
I don't need it either.
Because that's one time, and probably the other 5 times when he pulls that crap, it's incomplete, or it's bad, or he's waiting too long, or he gets sacked. I mean, Aaron Rodgers got sacked 1,000,000 times because he held the ball for 39 seconds or whatever it was, right? I don't know. But anyways, I'm going on a tangent about weird crap. It doesn't matter. But that's just one of the things I would say is.
Well, I think it's interesting. And that's why I wanted to ask about because that's what people like. The thing, it just feels like a really weird kind of convergence here when you look at it as sports and being a sports fan. And it's like and I partly blame, like, as I really thought about it, I couldn't sleep the other night. So I started thinking about all this stuff. And as I thought about it, I partly blame like ESPN, the rise of like sports recap shows. Remember the sports time machine? No, Sports Machine with George Michael, but not the one George Michael, the other George Michael, George Michael Sports Machine.
Yep.
All right. Well, what did you get on that? You got all the big wow, amazing plays, right? So for so many of the people that wouldn't sit and watch the whole game, they would see all these amazing, the best plays of the game and all the highlights and all this sort of stuff. So I blame like these sports recap shows for creating this environment where people saw all the wow stuff. That's what they got attracted to. That's what they loved. And then let's talk about shower time in the locker room. I don't know. Jerry, I don't know what that means.
Jerry's. That's not. It's a burner. It's nothing.
All right, I don't know.
Jerry Sandusky was the guy from Penn State who was a coach who was doing some kind of naughty molesting of stuff with
Peyton Manning Jr. Oh, terrible. Anyway, so the point of all this though is, to me, I don't get it, because ultimately, like, as a fan, I get a lot of joy. Like, yes, if the superstar makes an amazing play, awesome. But I like to see my team win and be successful. And I don't really care if the superstar makes a play or somebody else makes a play. I really don't. But I think that between the media and highlight shows and all of that and all the other things that we see, and then the way people have access to games but not full games, and then the way the leagues have marketed their superstars, like this is what we get. And so I think it's hard to be a fan of a team. And I think it's also challenging to for a lot of people to not just get globbed onto the wow plays and players, Ben, right? When you hear players rate guys, right? Or rank guys or say who's the best in the league or whatever. How many times did we hear players say, "Oh, I saw him make this amazing play that no one else could make. So he's the best." You know, you heard players say that then practice with Aaron Rodgers. Oh my God, the things he did in practice, just no one else in the world could do. It's amazing. So why does that make him the best player? It doesn't. Because what matters is what do you do in the game and how do you help your team win? And do you win? Not can you make an amazing play that no one else can make in practice when no one else sees it or once in a while in a game. To me, it's so weird and I don't get it. But I also think like all of us have become so enraptured by the wow plays and the superstar stuff that we lost good team stuff. And what the hell that looks like. I don't get it.
Well, I would say that it's the same. You just look at sacks.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Zadarius Smith is the perfect. Zadarius Smith. People say a guy is worth $20 million because he got 10 sacks last year.
You make less than one play a game, not even one impactful play a game, and sometimes they're not even that impactful, right?
That's what I'm saying. But it's like that's considered more valuable than like a linebacker who has 2 pass breakups and 10 tackles and is covering his guy so that the pass can't be thrown to his guy when he's covering him. When all this other guy does is just rush the quarterback, and he gets 1 sack a game. Not even 1 sack a game. Mm-hmm. Guys are they get like 12 sacks and then they get a $20 million contract, $20 million per year contract the next season. And they're considered good. But that's exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because that's the flash play. Oh, the big sack. Oh, the big sack. Oh, it really screwed him up. Except we don't talk about how if that sack was on second down, the very next play, the Packers, for instance, played 15 yards off and gave up a freaking 12-yard first down. So the sack didn't matter, right? Yeah, we've seen that how many times. So it's hard to. I find myself gravitating to watching teams that seem to do it right, right? That play as a unit, that are able to use each other, run the play properly, read the defense, do all the things that need to be done. And that's why I'm hoping that with Jeff Hafley, that's something that can happen on defense now. Maybe we'll see more guys playing together and not just going to try to make a play on your own. And you know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, in the Packers case, he just stood there, did nothing last year. But that's what gets the money. Sacks get the money. That's all they want to do. They want to make the big play. And we talked about it with the receivers, how like we got all these young receivers.
Yeah.
What's going to happen now if they start realizing, man, if I want my second contract, maybe not this year, maybe next year, I'm going to have to want the ball more and start, like, hey, Jordan Love, throw me the ball. Jordan Love, throw me the ball. Right now we have an awesome team where it's like the defense doesn't know who's getting the ball, which makes us very dangerous.
Yeah.
Way more dangerous than when all we had was freaking Devontae Adams getting freaking 157 targets a season. And the next guy was Aaron Jones with 50 targets or whatever it was. I mean, the last year Devontae Adams was a Packer, Aaron Jones was second in targets. And he had half the targets Devontae Adams had that year. Now, that's also an Aaron Rodgers problem. But still, that's a predictable thing the defense could find. What we have now is a bunch of young guys who are hungry and they all want the ball, and any one of them could get it at any time, and that's scary to a defense, if you ask me. And yes, a playmaker like Randy Moss or something would scare the crap out of defenses too. But I think the fear of the unknown is even more scary for a defense. It can make them passive, and we all know what a passive defense looks like because that's what we've seen with the Packers for the last I don't know how many years. It's bad.
Well, it's exactly what you're talking about. Leads me to the Bucks, but before I go there, I just want to say this, following up with Zero, what he's saying. He sees why sacks are valued. It's a morale crusher. Well, Zero, come on, man. How many times have we seen it? It's only a morale crusher when you have a wussy offensive coordinator and a scared quarterback, because a bunch of these quarterbacks, okay, they take a sack on first or second down, and then they still convert because they make a big play on third down. It's I don't know how many times we've seen it. Sacks are only important primarily on third down. If you get them
Well,
on
that's
first
not
and
true.
second, well,
That's not true.
unless you follow up with good plays, but and maybe other teams do. Maybe other teams, and maybe
They
the
do against
Packers
us.
will. Maybe the Packers will change the way they do it, but the Packers would make a play, a yardage loss play on first or second down, and then they play super soft and give up the first down. Well, what the hell good is it? It does you no good. Maybe other teams are like, hey, we just got this big yardage play. Let's go after them again and really screw them up, because they need a longer time to get the ball off. So if we blitz, make them throw it quick here, or they take a sack, hey, we're really talking then. So maybe that's what we'll see. But anyway, I want to be done with that. I want to move on to a couple things here related to what you just said, the defense. So where this stuck out to me, I mean, it stuck out to me in the Packers when they had the Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams magical connection, right? Because it worked against the bad teams, and the good team said, "Oh, we're going to take it away." And then you are going to be paused, Aaron Rodgers, and you're going to stand there for a while. You're going to take sacks and you're going to do dumb stuff in the big games, right? In the good teams. And that's what we saw. But this also struck me. This also applies to the Bucks and basketball in this year's Bucks. Now, some people are alarmed because they just lost to the Wizards and some other stuff has happened and blah, 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 blah. I get it. I said this before. The Bucks are an old team. They're freaking old for the NBA, right? And there are a lot of young teams with talented players who can shoot, and they get up and down the court and they can run circles around the Bucks. The Bucks are freaking old. So the difference is in the playoff series, you will have breaks between games. You'll have, this long extended schedule. So the Bucks should be fresh enough. It shouldn't be as big of an issue when you get into a series. However, the Bucks have this problem, and it was on display. It was on display against the Lakers when they lost to them recently. And there was in the very next game, it was a stark contrast and it worked way better. So this is Damian Lillard. And I get Damian Lillard can shoot the heck out of the ball. He's an amazing scorer, has been his whole career. But Damian Lillard is 6'2". He's short. He is short. And Damian Lillard for a bunch of the game will pass the ball. They'll talk about moving the ball. They'll talk about trusting other guys to make shots and sharing it. But then when it's crunch time, oh no, we got to have our guys take the shot. Well, when you do that, you're basically Aaron Rodgers to Devontae Adams. The defense knows who's going to shoot it. The defense knows if Damian Lillard has the ball in his hands and he's kind of putzing around with it and doing his moves to try to get himself open, that they just need to wait, have a taller guy nearby and block his shot, which they did twice in the last couple of minutes in the last few possessions against the game, during the game against the Lakers recently where they lost. Now, Damian Lillard had plenty of teammates on the court he could have passed to. He had people open he could have thrown it to because guys were gravitating towards him because they knew it was Dame time. It was the end of the game. The superstar has to shoot it then, right? When you play that way, you make it way too easy for the other team to figure out exactly who to defend and what they're going to do. And if the Bucks continue to play that way, instead of playing as a team, They are not going to go anywhere this postseason whatsoever. So I get it. Damian Lillard's an awesome player, an awesome scorer, but if it has to be Dame time and it's already predetermined that it's Dame time and we're not using our teammates, then Dame time is going to be over early this postseason. The stark difference was the very next game he was out and Pat Beverly played point guard. And Pat Beverly is not a shoot first point guard. He was dribbling. He was passing to divers like Giannis and Brook Lopez and other dudes, and it worked great. Those guys got easy shots to the rim because Pat Beverly was looking to throw it to him, not looking for a shot. Damian Lillard can do it. He's got to embrace it though for the Bucks to win and make that trade pay off because he's old and the Bucks gave up a lot to get him. So anyway, that's my revelation from that. And again, bringing me back to superstars. Superstars got to take the shot. You know who's a superstar that never predetermined that, Ben? Tell me who it is.
I don't know.
He's still playing in the NBA. And he got shit for it. He got criticized for it too. LeBron James.
What?
Yeah. LeBron James would pass the ball in crunch time and get a bunch of shit for it. Because it was
he
the
knew
right.
He wasn't that good.
No, it was because it was the right play. It's because
because we had Ray Allen on his team.
He threw it to an open guy.
Yeah, he had Ray Allen to hit the threes so that he could actually win. Because he had Ray.
Yeah.
Because he had Ray. If I had Ray, I'd pass it to Ray every time.
Jerry says Pat Bev stinks. ISO basketball is boring. Lee, you're right. Oh my God. Jerry says AJ Green, Jay Crowder, Pat stink. AJ Green's, come on. He's a whitey that can shoot it. Give him a break. That's all he can do. Lee says we should come to our senses about Connaughton. No, Pat Connaughton is still pretty good. Doc Rivers is getting a lot of heat though. Look, when I've heard Doc Rivers talk about basketball and I've heard the players talk about what he says to them and how they practice. And it seems like it's good. So why isn't it translating to better results on the court? I don't know. Because it seems like they all know what they should be doing. They're talking about all the things you should do with rotations and all this sort of stuff and communicating and the way they play offense and blah, 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 blah.
Well, maybe they're too slow to rotate. You said
but they are slow. They're old.
Well, there you go. They're too old to run what he just wants to run.
So they got to play deep. They got to play a bunch of guys so they can keep up with the young teams and keep their old guys fresh. And they got to share the ball and not predetermine ISO basketball at the end of the game because it's Dame time or superstar time. Screw that. How about open guy time? Throw the ball to the guy that's open. Let him shoot it. Live with the results. Anyway.
I don't know.
That's something. You don't know? What do you want?
What do you want? The open guys suck.
Yeah.
Sometimes Dame time is your best option. And you have to know that. I'll say this. I watched the highlights from that women's basketball game between Iowa and LSU or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I don't know how many shots were missed because they just showed those shots that were made for the most part, except for a couple blocks that LSU had on Iowa. But there was some good shots taken by people other than that Caitlin Clark chick. Like some good passes. She had 12 assists in this game, and she was like doing some nice passing. But she was also freaking draining shots when she needed to drain shots. Like they were losing for a while there. And they needed her to go out and just freaking start hitting some shots to get them back in the game.
Yeah.
And that's just, sometimes you need your star to be a star. That like basketball is totally different than football, dude.
I don't know. Really? Patrick Mahomes didn't carry the Chiefs? Make plays? He didn't? He ran. He took off and made plays with his legs late in the game in the Super Bowl because that's what it took to win. Because he didn't give a shit about what his passing stats were. He's like, I got to do whatever it takes to win this game.
Chris Jones was awesome. The defense was awesome.
I get it.
The secondary was doing great for the Chiefs. And the fact that, the 49ers lost Dre Greenlaw. That hurt their their defense and made the Chiefs offense look a little better. Because then you got Oren Burks out there. That's never good. We all know that.
Ooh, come
Now they're going to
on.
have Devondre Campbell out there. So
Vanderbilt's own Oren Burks.
I don't know. I don't really. I haven't been able to watch the Bucks because I don't care. So you can talk
Well,
about the Bucks all you want. I'm just going to be
I'll
like,
tell you
okay.
this: Middleton went from one night he shot like 2 for 11 or 2
Oof.
for 12, and the next night he was 9 out of 10. So I don't know. If he makes shots, he's good. If he misses shots, he stinks.
That's kind
And
of how everybody is.
I know, but he is very dependent on that. Like he doesn't do much else other than make shots. Like Bobby Portis had a really bad shooting night a few games ago. He was like 2 out of 13 or something, 2 out of 14. It was really bad.
Don't you blast from Bobby
But
Portis.
but he got like 13 rebounds and did some other stuff. So, like that's what I'm saying. There's still some value there. Now, who knew that the big Ragu was going to just become a monster for the Knicks, right? Dante DiVincenzo is like blowing up. Jerry pointed out here that they're missing him and missing some other guys. Actually,
Hey, Jerry Sandusky. It's some random ding dong who kick him out of here.
You want me to kick him out?
Yeah, he's a ding dong.
Well, he'd made up a point. Bucks are missing DiVincenzo, Malcolm Brogdon, and everything except Grayson Allison.
Malcolm Brogdon was my favorite freaking Buck for a long time.
He was really good.
And then Bobby Portis is my favorite Buck. So then, we're good.
Well, I don't know. I wanted to ask about it. For me, I prefer good team sports. I will be fans of people. I actually rejoice more when the guys who aren't the stars make a play than the guys who are stars. I'll be honest about that as well. And does that make me hate superstars? No. But superstars, if you get paid a lot and there's a lot on your plate and you can't come through, well, I think you deserve some of that. You deserve the heat you get. Yeah. You deserve to have higher expectations because, like you said, it goes with your pay. Your play has to match your pay.
And I get mad when I hear people are like, these guys, they're just regular people like everyone else. They are human beings. People they can't treat them like crap and all this kind of junk. And I'm not saying you be racially, bad to them or whatever, like race slander or cut them down like that way. Just based on the play on the field or the play on the court. That's where you judge the player. And if they're making a lot of money, then it's our right as fans to say, you're not matching the money that you're making. The play on the field, the play on the court does not match what you're making. And we have the right to point that out and be upset about it. Because you're paid to be a star. And if you're paid like a star, play like a star. Don't be a Jair Alexander.
By Brian Gutekunst, you're paid.
And that's just the thing I would say. But I don't hate stars. I just hate it when
Nico thought that for a while. He thought you hated superstars. So
I hate superstars that never take blame.
Mm.
That's what I hate. They're already,
well, they don't take responsibility.
Held on such a high pedestal that, they get away with murder the way it, not murder, but you know what I'm saying. They get away with whatever they want. They're making a crap ton of money. At least be responsible for what you're being paid for. If you're not performing or you're not producing, be responsible for that. Don't blame it on everybody else. Aaron Rodgers. Oops. Did I say that? Yeah, I did. Or Devondre Campbell. Saying that their coaches suck. And you're just doing what the coaches told you to do. Which is
I didn't mean to ban Jerry and have all his comments removed. But anyway, I put him in.
Well, you should, because just put him in. It's not Jerry. It's not Jerry Sandusky. Jerry Sandusky is a guy who's in prison. So
I know.
Maybe it is, but I don't know if he likes the Bucks.
It's just from prison. You can watch our show from prison too. I get it.
Sure. Yeah, I don't care.
Zero's talking crazy nonsense, but trading everything for Josh Allen. What?
The Bills are just, they've gotten rid of everybody. I don't know what they're doing over there.
Is Rasul still there?
Rasul's there.
Oh, man.
but they got rid of everybody else.
Now I hate Goody Moore for trading him.
He's gone.
I hate Goody Moore for trading him. If now he's stuck on a team that's falling apart and get rid of everything, and he could still be on the up and coming Packers.
The Bills just traded Diggs to the Texans today. So Josh Allen's got nobody to throw to because he also lost Gabe Davis in free agency. So all he's got is Dalton Kincaid at tight end and Dawson Knox at tight end. Maybe they don't have any receivers.
They're trying to get him to run more and throw less because he makes a lot of bad throws.
Dumb throws, yeah. I know. Even Jair Alexander get an interception off him. Yeah, you're right. But I don't know.
Guy who's got 10 career interceptions in five or 6 seasons. 6 seasons, 10 interceptions.
It's funny when I hear people say that Jair is a ball hawk. I'm like, he's not. He doesn't get very many past defense, and he doesn't get very many interceptions. He really doesn't do anything, to be quite honest.
Except make a big deal when he makes one maybe play.
And that's the other thing is like when Jordan Love was asked about Jair Alexander by Ryan Clark, he just laughed. He laughed it off.
What did he ask him?
We asked him what's that. He's like, what? He just said, Ryan Clark's like, what's going on with Jair Alexander? Like, he's freaking crazy. And then Jordan Love's just like, oh, he. He's like, he's something else. He. It's okay. They just laugh it off. The whole team just laughs it off.
Pay him a bunch of money. All good. Well, anyway, we'll find out.
I don't know what the show's been. I'll say that about Jerry Sandusky. He's asking, what is the show? And I agree. I don't know what the show is. It's been a random bunch of crap, but we haven't done a show in a couple of weeks, so Jason wanted to do a show. So here we are talking about random crap. Because there's no Packer news. They haven't done anything in 2 weeks.
What are you talking about? They lost Patrick Taylor today to the 49ers. Really? Patrick Taylor.
No. What will they ever do? Why isn't Rudy Ford back on the pack?
I don't know. What are they pissing around for? Like some of these guys.
That's the last guy they need to sign back. I said I want Eric Wilson. I want Rudy Ford back. Those are the 2 guys I want to back. Let's get them back. We got one of them. We got Wilson back. We didn't get Rudy Ford back. Can we get Rudy Ford back, please? And then play him instead of have him not be played?
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Remember they got 11 picks. I'm sure they'll make them count. But not play him much, right? Isn't that the way? I don't know. We'll see what happens with the Packers. But anyway, the reason I wanted to talk the other day is because I saw that stuff. I saw the end of that game with the Bucs, and I was like, stop this superstar. Got to take the shot crap. Play as a team. Live with the results. Just get the ball to the open guy. And I want to see football played that way too, where you're using the whole guys. And I loved, that was what was exciting and fun about last Packer season is the biggest star on offense was Aaron Jones, an unselfish guy. All these young dudes at receiver and tight end who were just figuring it out, playing for one another. That made it really fun. Not the egos and not the I need the ball and not the other bull crap. That made it fun. So I hope they can keep it going. I don't know if they will be able to, but hopefully this season brings the same sort of stuff. And hopefully they get some good rookie dudes in here. And hopefully Aaron Jones tears it up for the Vikings. It makes you fun. Have you some fun on Sundays watching the Vikings when you can't watch the Pack.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
I would love it. Aaron Jones, go get him, buddy. All right. That's all I got for tonight. Hopefully you guys take care of yourselves. Be good. We had some crazy weather here recently in Wisconsin. Did you get some snow over there, Ben?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. Not that bad. All right. But the birds are pissed off. There's some angry birds out there. I'll just say that. They started making their nests and doing stuff, and then they got a bunch of wet snow. But we'll do a show sometime. Next time the Packers do something interesting. Maybe if they sign Rudy Ford back, we might do a show. Or if they sign Micah Hyde, people still call him for it. But I'm not sure about that one either. We'll see.
Yeah.
Otherwise, take care of yourselves. Be good. And go Pack Go. And we appreciate y'all. Except for Jerry Sandusky. Tell me why I beg you to come.